Thank you. Welcome to those in the Del Mar Center Hall, those on Zoom, and later on YouTube. My name is Linda C. McCabe, and I am the current chair of the Sea Ranch Forum. Sea Ranch Forum is not an official function of the Sea Ranch Association. It is organized by Sea Ranch members and is independent of the board of directors and staff, and was originally founded in 1973. This particular meeting is a joint effort between the Forum and the Sea Ranch Vision Committee, and I want to thank Cynthia Bogalub and Christine Kraling for their help. And today's topic is inspired by this being the 60th anniversary year of the founding of the Sea Ranch. And it is 60 years retrospective of the Mendonoma Community, a celebration including the founding and evolution of key institutions in our community. We will be hearing We will be hearing from 9 different spokespeople from these key institutions of our community. Each one will be giving a 10-minute presentation, and we will be going in a mostly chronological order. So please hold any questions you have until the end. Many of them also have displays at the back of the room in case you would like to learn more about them and how you can help support these vital organizations. Thank you. Next is David Susalla, Executive Director of the Gualala Arts.
Hello, thank you, Linda, and thank you to Sea Ranch, everybody in the audience, and the rest of the panel members for being here today. I know we all have choices, so thanks for joining us today. I do have the pleasure of being the Executive Director for Gualala Arts, and one of the first questions people ask me personally is, what does SUS stand for and why is SUS? So I'd just like to mention that SUS is a 3rd generation nickname from my father and my grandfather, who are with me in spirit now, not in person. So every time you call me SUS, I bring them into the room with us. So thanks to my parents and grandparents and elders. Gualala Arts mission statement since 1961 has been to promote public interest and participation in the arts. And that is a very serious mission statement that's very broad on purpose, to promote public interest and participation in the arts. And that's plural. So we'd like to welcome all the arts. And we started in 1961, thank you to our community center and Kevin and the rest of the gang, at the Gualala Community Center. And so next slide, please. You'll see Betty O'Neill and the familiar name of Kathy DeMaio. They actually started the first idea of Art in the Redwoods, and they went down to Oakland, California, and visited in March that year of 1961, as the story has it, and went to a flower and art show. And so they wanted to bring it back here. And so they held the very first Art in the Redwoods at the Gualala Community Center. And you'll see a picture here of that community center. They came back, they talked to the different members of the board of the community center. It was a rental. And here you'll see a picture of it. I think I still have that sign in the basement of the art center, that big wooden sign. In 1961, they actually barked redwood trees and brought it into the art center and converted the community center into a redwood tree art center. And I actually have pictures of Kathy from these 2 years going through each slide. And if I had my act together when I was tech savvy enough, I could have put her voice for these 10 minutes of her going over these 2 slides for these 2 years. It's amazing. And I'm going to get it up on our website one of these days. And so in 1961, they did that. They brought the redwood trees, started the Art in the Redwoods. And the next year, they wanted to change it up slightly. And so in 1962, it was a garden theme. And so they brought in like a Japanese garden and did it all in these Asian kind of themes. And they actually had a little pond inside there and a little bridge. And they also had food and celebrations and invited the entire community to participate. It was not a juried art show. It was a show that anyone could participate in. And so that's another very important part of our mission. Since 1961, anyone who would like to experience and share and create their art with the community, they are able to, as long as they can fill out the forms and go through all the process and get there on time and hand deliver the artwork and deal with our 300 volunteers that have systems for everything. We're happy to have you. And all of that information is on our website. And then a few years after that, it moved out into the redwoods, actually. And so they actually moved into the forest, into a local landowner, and had art in the redwoods out there. And then they realized that there's this thing called fog and dew that isn't necessarily conducive and great for artwork. So at night, they realized they wanted to have a cover for the artwork after the show was hung. So they went back to the community center and bounced around the community, and they decided that they needed to fundraise and have their very own dedicated center for the arts in our community. So a group of individuals in 1965 got together with our board of directors and applied for our nonprofit status, and we received it in 1966. You can see it's dated there in 65, and then I have some other paperwork back in the archives. I love all this old paperwork stuff with the old corporate seals and whatnot. And so next slide, please. The committee fundraised and worked on for years and years and years to come up with a new site for this besides the community center, because they were busy doing all these great things that we found out about. And so after a lot of back and forth and going around, I could spend 10 minutes on that subject as well. I'd also like to thank Dr. Ali Edmonds and Gualala Redwoods, who donated 10 acres of land just about half a mile from downtown. Most of you have been to the Art Center. If you haven't been, please come by and check it out. And it was a handshake deal with Dr. Ali Edmonds. As we just mentioned before, it takes a lot of money to build an art center. And so the good doctor and Alan Coleman had the thought and the handshake that said, I'm not going to deed the land over to you until you can raise enough money to start construction, and that you never borrow money to complete it or to add on. And so we've done that. And it's truly amazing. We had to raise about $250,000, and then we realized it was going to take much more than that. So we had to raise about $500,000 back then. They achieved that, and today we spec out at just over $2 million on our balance sheet to build the Art Center. And the board of directors, I would also like to acknowledge and say the board of directors, thanks to Andrea Lunsford and our community, we all talk about how old we are, 60 years, and Sea Ranch, and 65, the Art Center, and the community center, 70, 75 years, whatever it is. Besides our volunteers in our community, the board of directors this year, we've had our local Pomo Indians here and natives at Gualala Arts and at this space here that we're occupying today. So we've spent a couple of years, Andrea Lunsford and I, working with Eric Wilder and Karen Wilder to come up with a land acknowledgement. And so if that's okay, I'd like to read that now, since we're talking about the Gualala Arts land. And this was just approved this year, and we're working with those guys to do more specifics on it. And this is why we have the land that you're seeing right there up on the slide. Gualala Arts Land Acknowledgement. The Gualala Arts Center gratefully acknowledges the Native peoples whose ancestral homelands we now share, and specifically the Pomo Kashaya and the Manchester Point Arena tribes, the first inhabitants of what we now call coastal Sonoma and Mendocino counties. We recognize the legacies of displacement and the settlement that bring us together here and honor our shared commitment to being respectful and responsible protectors of land, water, people, arts, and culture. And so thank you for letting me read that, and thank you to our locals that have been here for thousands of years, maybe 10,000s of years. So every time we talk about how old we are, it really kind of brings it back into perspective. And so here you'll see lots of little signs around here for the future Art Center. And next slide, please. We'll get a little closer to what we're looking at. So after the board got the commitments from Dr. Ali Edmond, we brought the communities together from Annapolis, Sea Ranch, Gualala, Point Arena. They all worked together to come together with this vision of a community center dedicated specifically to the arts. And we hired local contractors that you'll see. They brought in these big scissor trestles that came out of Washington, I think. Those are those engineered big things that are up there and came down on big trucks to come through. And our local contractors worked with volunteers that had never held a hammer before. So it was very cool to have everyone come together and have lunch and build the Art Center. Next slide, please. And here you go. It's looking a little closer to completion. And this is probably 97. We got the land in 95, and we held our very first Art in the Redwoods. We make all of our projects, including this building. The Art in the Redwoods is the deadline. So in 1998, they completed the center. Next slide, please. And this is what it looks like today, or actually probably a couple of years ago, to be honest, looking at the siding, because we've had the siding cleaned and polished and resealed. And so the Gualala Arts Center has grown into a 15,000 square foot visual and performing arts center that does all kinds of things. We also have the Dolphin Gallery downtown, which we started in 1969, was in Anchor Bay and then the Sunstrom Mall for 40 years. And then ended up now, we're very happy to be with Julie Bauer, our landlord in town in the Bauer Residency in the Seacliff Center there, right at the top of the Bluff Trail. And we have a dream of buying a ticket at the Dolphin Gallery and walking to Art in the Redwoods. Maybe not this year, but one of these years. And so we're thrilled to be there. And please come. Next slide, please. So this year, I've got about another 6 hours of presentation to talk about all the stuff that we do. No, but we host over 100 publicized events, close to 2,000 calendared events every year. And everything from Art in the Redwoods to theater to plays to all kinds of great stuff. Please, please, please come by and check us out. Most of the people in this room have been there. Most of you people out there in radio land, internet land, if you're watching somewhere, gualalaarts.org. Next slide, please, is join the fun, which is, that's the key to everything we do at the Art Center, is to try and have fun. Please volunteer, donate, create, become a member of our family today. We are a membership organization, gualalaarts.org. We're going to double our membership this year. How are we going to do that? If every non-member joins, but even quicker yet, if every member out there gives away a membership, we can double our membership within the year. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, David.